What's going on, everybody? It's Fish Fossils here. I hope everybody's doing quite well today. And I know this looks a little upside down to see me with a stuffed animal for my facial figure instead of a normal, human face that is my face, of course. But I don't know. I really could never get into the whole showing my face instead of, something else. I don't know. It's just something I couldn't really get into. Like other bigger people like Bering and people like that. They always put something else, and I don't know. I guess I just was more drawn to that idea than anything else. And so I took quite a few pictures with my little stuffed animal here. His name is Stripes, and he will be, I think, the new mascot for my channel. But anyway, today what I wanted to talk about is this. It reads, I had to get an abortion because my dad was dying in the hospital. Who are you to tell me no? This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Abortion. Let me just start out by saying I think abortion is fucking wrong. It is messed up as fuck. And to me, it's baby murder. It's completely baby murder. It's. And this one kind of appalls me. People, they get pregnant and then they think, oh, well, I can just get an abortion and get the baby out of me and we'll keep going with life. But, there's a little life inside of you. But I know a lot of people say, oh, well, it's not alive. But here's what BBC had to say about that. Some people say that if the fetus is not a person, then abortion deserves no condemnation. This oversimplifies the issues. Even if the fetus is not a human being, it is clearly regarded by most people and most societies as something special that should not be casually discarded. This is highly true. Whether it is alive or not, it is still something extremely precious that, it's fairly hard to make. This is not something that you can just do on a regular basis. Now, I know a lot of people might get a little confused about that, but actually, in case you didn't know, and you can definitely go look this up for yourself, in case you didn't know, you can actually, there's only like 3 or 4 days out of a month, an entire month, 30 days, that you can actually conceive a baby. Like, this is extreme luck that this baby is even born. And another thing I have to say about this is there are other options than abortion. Okay, you don't have to kill the poor little baby. You could wait and put it up for adoption, and this is a very preferable option. Because there are a lot of the gay lesbian community is growing, and they can't always necessarily have babies on their own, and so adoption would be a perfect thing for them. And there's not, and I know there's already quite a few kids in the adoption centers that need adopting, but some of the LGBTs, they would like a newborn, and so if you were to put up a newborn, I'm sure they would jump all over the idea of having it. But let's get back to the question at hand. Is abortion even okay? I know a lot of people would say, well, because it doesn't have its 5 senses, it's not alive. Well, that's not necessarily true, because let's take a look at one of the most highly regarded, one of the most famous people that has ever walked the earth, Helen Keller. Helen Keller was born deaf and dumb, I believe. So there's 2 of the 5 senses that she was not born with. But is she any less human than you and me? No, she's not. And you wouldn't put a bullet in her brain because she has 2 of her 5 senses gone. You would, you just see her as a human with a little bit of difficulties, which is perfectly okay. So why would we treat an unborn baby any differently? It's ridiculous to even think about doing such a thing. And as for the article, I had to get an abortion because my dad was dying? What in the actual fuck? I mean, what the hell? You had to get an abortion because your dad was dying. That makes all kinds of sense. And I know the article kind of explains. I got it on Snapchat, and I tried to save it on Snapchat for this video, but Snapchat was being a bitch, and so I couldn't. But I'm sure if you were to go to Google, you could look it up. I have not personally looked it up on Google, but as I said, if you were to go look it up on Google, I'm sure you could. Anyway, though, she goes on to explain something about money or something like that. I didn't really have a whole lot of time to read the whole article. It's just the headline grabbed my attention. There is absolutely no reason. Just because your father died, there's absolutely no reason. There's never going to be enough reason to take another life because your father died. Okay? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd behavior and thought process by these people. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I guess that's all I have to say for this abortion thing. If you were to ask me, I'd say that babies were alive. And some evidence shows that they're actually alive 30 seconds after conception. 30 seconds after conception. And then a lot of science points to the idea that 30 seconds after conception, they began to breathe. Not with their own lungs, but they began to intake oxygen. So, if that's not life, I don't know what it is. I don't know what life is. Everything on planet Earth that we know of needs some kind of air nutrient, whether that be carbon dioxide for plants, or oxygen for humans, and pretty much everything else. Like even fish need oxygen. They just need a way lower count of oxygen stripped away from oceans and water. So, I don't. This is ridiculous, guys. This just gets more and more ridiculous. These people trying to find an excuse to have abortions. Flat out, it's baby murder. That's all it is. And these are what's most ridiculous is the people who started this movement are the same people who wanted to get onto the Vietnam War veterans. Oh, you just bunch of baby killers. No, they're not baby killers. You're the fucking baby killers, you idiots. These guys were just doing their jobs. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to have to say for this video. If you like more on abortion, go ahead and tell me in the comments below, and I'll definitely do some more talk into this. And if this is your first time visiting, go ahead and click that like button and go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, I'll see you all at another time and dimension, wherever that may be. Until then, peace out.